What is going on, guys? So today we're doing a live stream. And if anybody stops by, that'll be great. And it'll be awesome because we can chat and we can talk together. But today I wanted to go over the Jets undrafted free agents and personally, just my thoughts on these guys. Lots of people added. The Jets did a lot of good moves in undrafted free agency. And we're just going to go over and talk about which of these guys that we brought in can make the 53-man roster and which of these guys can't. It's that simple. It's really, really that simple. That being said, guys, we're at 188 subscribers. I don't know what's going on, but like a day ago, I was at 46 and now I'm about to break 200. That's crazy. So thank you for everyone who subscribed and did all that. If you're watching this as a recording, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Would love to have you be a part of the community. But let's hop right in. Let's start off with the first signing that I think everybody's going to talk about. I think there's two signings. There's two guys that are, I think, for sure going to make the 53-man roster. And then there are like three guys that I look at that could come in as practice squad guys. And then there's these other guys where we're just taking flyers on them. And I don't really think that they work out at all. So let's start off with one of the guys that I think absolutely has the ability to make the roster. And that's Zonovan Bam Knight, running back out of North Carolina State. Our running back room right now is probably one of our best shining spots on the team, right? When you look at the addition of Breece Hall, and then you look at, Michael Carter and Tevin Coleman and Ty Johnson, and like there is a lot of really, really good depth at the running back position, but that doesn't mean that we can't really upgrade, right? We can always upgrade. It doesn't matter what position you're talking about. And even though right now we have a lot of running backs on the team, what's up, Jets mess. Hello. What are you doing, man? How you doing, man? And so like I was saying, even though we have a lot of running backs on the roster right now in Michael Carter, Tevin Coleman, Breece Hall, Ty Johnson, Zonovan Knight, LaMichael P. Ryan, Austin Walter, we also signed another kid. There's another running back that we brought in. Let me pull up his name. DeAndre Torrey out of North Texas. Even though we have a lot of running backs, in our system, you can never have enough. And as much as a 1-2-3 punch of Breece Hall, Michael Carter, and Tevin Coleman sounds really, really good, we saw Michael Carter go down a couple of times last year. We saw Tevin Coleman go down a couple of times last year. And as much as I'm a fan of Ty Johnson, the person, the player is somebody that I would reluctantly want to play on the team. He had the drop issues. He had the different things that were going on. It's just, I'd rather not see him on the team. Give me 1 second, guys. But it's one of those things where it's just like, as much as I like Ty Johnson, I'd much rather look at a prospect like Zonovan Knight, who one is going to be much, much younger, right? At 21 years old, 5'11", 209. He's kind of that bigger bruising back that I was kind of hoping the Jets were going to draft. As much as I loved Breece Hall, he wasn't my number one running back on my board in the sense of like for the Jets. I thought Kenneth Walker being a little shorter and a little wider and a little heavier made more sense because I really liked Michael Carter. That being said, I love Breece Hall's signing. Taking the best player at the position is never a bad idea, right? Players like Breece Hall elevate beyond scheme. And I think a lot of the people who listen to my stuff and watch other Jets YouTubers will hear this a lot. And that's 5-10 years ago, Brees Hall is in the conversation of a top 5, top 10 pick in the draft. So it's not me not liking Brees Hall. I like Brees Hall. It's just me saying, it's just me saying, oh, damn, he's on IOW. But it's one of those things, like I was saying, where adding a player that's this productive at a relatively high school to come into the program, and I think he's really trying to take Ty Johnson's job. I think the whole idea is that these two guys are going to compete for a job, and I think that when we look at it by the end of the year, I believe in Zonovan Knight. So he's either, what's up, GMF? Jets United in the house. How you doing, sir? Thank you for stopping by. Like I said, Zonovan Knight is really, really good coming into the program. Biggest concerns that you see with him is he did have a fumble problem yes, I am. He did have a fumble problem when he was at North Carolina State with a lot of drops and stuff like that. But and so it's one of those things where, like, is Zonovan Knight really a good replacement to Ty Johnson? Because some of the concerns that we have with Ty Johnson, Zonovan Knight has. And Ty Johnson's not old enough to where I'm ready to, like, throw him away. He is 24. So it's just a matter of how much more do you believe in Zonovan Knight? And how much more do you think that he's, like, how much better do you think he is there? One of the things that I think he can do is absolutely be used in special teams. So if he does make the roster, I think it might be on a special teams capacity. He did kick return at North Carolina State for a little bit. See, I thought that, but one, I think LaMichael Pirine is one of those guys that's definitely going to be on the practice squad, and somebody's going to claim him. I think so. But I really got a lot of Ty Johnson vibes when I saw Bam. Like, it really jumped out at me as Ty Johnson. Again, like I was saying, having depth at the running back position is never a bad thing. Like, people keep forgetting that Austin Walter played in this system and looked good. So I think we're going to run quite a few running backs in this system, and we're going to be okay with it. But my biggest concern is his fumbling issue and the fact that he had, like, quite a few dropped passes with his thing. So it's just like, he might be, like you said, he might just be that short yardage guy. You bring him in, you need that 1 yard, you need the guy to fall forward, you need a guy to push the pile, and that might be him, break his body instead of your more elite players and things like that. And yeah, I guess, yeah, Pirine is that very similar player. It's like I said, it's one of those things where I think they're competing for that number 4 spot on the roster. Bam is, and as much as I like Bam, I just look at it and I go, is he truly, truly an upgrade on LaMichael Pirine and Ty Johnson? And I don't necessarily think he is, but he is younger. I think he might be a little hungrier, and he might be willing to put in that extra work to get better. So I like Zonovan Knight, especially coming out of North Carolina State. They outside of what they did and outside of what they had in Ike Ekwonu, they didn't really have much in the sense of good offensive line player, relatively, anything like that. And he was productive there. And playing at North Carolina, he was able to play some better teams. I don't want to say that they were great teams, but he was able to play some pretty adequate defenses and pretty adequate guys. Don't forget about LaFleur's guy, Tevin Coleman and Austin Walter. They likely round out our 4 active roster guys. See, I don't know about Austin Walter. Tevin Coleman definitely is the number 3 guy. We're bringing in all of these running backs to fill in that 4th running back slot, right? Which I think right now, personally, I think Ty has it. But I think you're absolutely right. I don't think it's a lock that he's going to have that spot. LaFleur's definitely going to keep Tevin Coleman in the rotation, and I think that's a smart idea. He knows the system. He's a veteran running back. He's a guy that if you just need, hey, you just need to get like the nitty gritty of this position done really quickly for 1 or 2 snaps, you can throw in Tevin Coleman there. He's a good guy to have in the locker room, and I wouldn't risk putting him on the practice squad and being able to get claimed by another team, San Francisco maybe, or anything like that. So I definitely think Tevin Coleman will be part of the 3. I think what we're going to see is the rest of the running backs outside of Michael Carter, Tevin Coleman, and Breece Hall are all going to compete for that 4th spot. So Ty Johnson, Zonovan Knight, LaMichael P. Ryan, and Austin Walter are all fighting for that 4th spot. And I think you're right. I think Austin Walter has the highest likelihood of winning that spot because he did look good at the running back position late last year when we were so injured, when Tevin Coleman was out, when Michael Carter was out. But that's my thing is I look at it and I go, a depth of LaMichael P. Ryan, Zonovan Knight, and Ty Johnson makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. I think one of those guys is going to have to get cut, right? We can't carry everybody on the roster for that long. But if you're telling me that we're going to have some of these guys waiting in the wings to fill a roster spot in case of injury, I feel a little bit more comfortable. And we're the Jets, right? Like, we're going to have injuries. It's something that we all know is going to happen. So the expectation or this belief that we're not going to run into a bunch of injuries or something like that, I think is just foolish and naive. And we gotta be ready for it. But like I said, I like Zonovan Knight out of NC State, and I think that he's a good prospect. Next guy on the list is Irvin Charles, wide receiver out of Indiana. Guys, I couldn't find much on Irvin Charles outside of the fact that he was a 4-star recruit coming out of college, and he had offers from a million different places. There isn't much information on him, so I'm just gonna tell you what I know out of the kid, right? So one, he's a little bit of an older prospect. Pretty sure Irvin Charles. Don't know how old he is because it doesn't show me his birthday. But Irvin Charles is definitely an older prospect because he started college in 2015. This year, expect 4 running backs, 4 tight ends with a fullback as our sets. The question is, how many wide receivers? I agree. I think the question is, how many wide receivers? I think we do run 4 running backs and 4 tight ends. And I think the 4 tight ends end up being the 2 that we brought in, Uzama, Conklin, Ruckert, and Yeboah. I think those are the 4 guys that stay on the team. Personally, I think Wesco's on his way out. I think Yeboah's ability to play special teams, and when he was asked to be on the field, he wasn't like a massive liability. Is going to be much. Again, I'm not a Wesco fan, but like you come back to it's like Wesco plays like the fullback role, but like we have Nick Bodden for that. So again, I think Wesco's the odd man out in the tight end room. But back to Irvin Charles. Sorry. Irvin Charles, I think, is one of those players where the Jets are taking a flyer on him because he went to IUP. Fun fact, that's the Indiana, Pennsylvania University or something like that. I have a bunch of friends that went to IUP, which is pretty funny. Yeah, but like Joe Douglas also made a statement about Jamal Adams. Right? I don't know. It's an interesting conversation. I think you can probably put Yeboah on the practice squad and no one claims him, but I'm a fan of Yeboah. I like him. So I'm going to shoot my shot here, right? It's one of those things where more than likely I'm probably wrong here and you make a lot of sense, right? He did make like good statements and glowing statements of Wesco, but I like Yeboah more. I like his upside and what he can bring. And NFL chaos with Jeremy in the house. What is going on, man? Not gonna lie, Jeremy, I'm still laughing at your 500 subscriber special. had to show it to my wife, and we watched the entire first part of the special and all the questions and all that stuff. It's a good time. Definitely something you got to highlight for a future intro or something, because just the dichotomy of you and your brother just delicious, and then you just dying there in the background was great. But yeah. And yeah, you're right, GMF. It is different. Me trying to compare the Trayvon Wesco situation to the Jamal Adams situation is a stretch for me to be doing it that way. But like I said, I like my guy. Let me like my guy. But yeah, so it comes down to that situation. It comes down to we got to see what's going to happen with that. But going back to Irvin Charles, sorry, got distracted. Irvin Charles. I think the thing that tells the story of why we brought in Irvin Charles is, one, is he's huge. He's 6'4", 224. And the real thing that I think he's being brought in and all that stuff is not because I think he's a stellar athlete or I think he's something great. It's because of what he was coming out of high school. I think we're taking a bet on a kid that's coming out of high school, because I'm going to read you. I was a bit disappointed with our UDFA haul. Would have really loved Lindstrom, Verone, McKinley, and Sanborn. I agree. I would have really, for me, the two guys that are Jack Sanborn is a I wouldn't have been mad if we got him, but Lindstrom and Verone McKinley were the two guys that I was upset that we didn't get. And specifically, it's Lindstrom. I've come off of the whole Verone McKinley take. I've gone off of the Verone McKinley take because I don't think the Jets really are looking at our safety room and our linebacker room as positions of need. I might make a video on this, but like, it's one of those things where I think that the team looks at our safeties and our corners and our linebackers and goes, we have guys listed as corners that can play safety, and we have safety depth there. If we don't get eviscerated at safety, we've got a starting safety duo of we have a safety duo of LaMarcus Joyner and Jordan Whitehead. And I actually really want to see LaMarcus Joyner as our free safety. Ashton Davis, Elijah Riley, Jason Pinnock, Will Parks, they're all good prospects. When you look at what's going on in the safety room. And so I don't think the front office looks as the safety position as a position of need. I don't think they look at that safety room and go, yeah, we definitely needed a safety. I think they like the guys that are there, and I think they believe in the guys that are there. And I think the same thing with the linebacker room. Guys, I think the thing that we need to remember is that we play so much nickel coverage where we're bringing in another slot corner instead of a linebacker, that we really only ever run two linebackers out there. And it seems like there's a lot of belief in the front office with Hamza Nasruddin and Jamie Sherwood. I don't know if you guys remember this, but like in those first couple of games, Jamie Sherwood had the sticker on the helmet. He was quarterbacking the defense, and he was playing the middle linebacker spot so that CJ would bump outside to the will. And I understand the idea of, hey, we're going to, we got to find a replacement for CJ. But it's one of those things where I think they believe in those guys more than the fans do. And I think that they see something that the fans necessarily don't see. But again, it's one of those things of like, it's so much positional versatility that they look at the linebackers and the safeties and they say, we've got the guys that we need to make this defense run here. And there's that. And Jets, like, I'm with you. I'm not saying that I like the linebacker depth. I would have loved to add a linebacker, but I think that the fans and the front office are butting heads here because of that. So that's that. Oh, and I forgot about Quincy. We do have Quincy Williams, and we brought in Marcel Harris. So, like, again, we're like 7 or 8 linebackers deep right now, and we brought in DQ Thomas. So I'm going to talk about after I finish talking about Irvin Charles, which I think he can make the team. I think he can be a very not as effective and not as big Leo Chenal. He's really good in the run game. He can be a guy that we can be brought in to really just stop the run. And I like that out of DQ Thomas, but we'll talk about DQ when we get to TQ. Going back to when we were talking about the tight ends, I agree. He is still developing. He definitely makes the practice squad, and tight end 4. I agree with what you're saying, like 100% here about Yeboah. It's just that. And then I think the reason we lost out on Alec Lindstrom, coming back to this comment, which I think is referred to here, is that Alec Lindstrom went to Dallas, where I think he's legitimately has a chance to start. And so that's a thing there. I think they legitimately have a chance to start at Dallas at center. And that's why I think he went there versus coming to the Jets, where I think he would have been a backup. And then let me scroll through here. Irvin Charles. Yep. I'm going to talk about this. And when he got removed from Penn State and went to IUP, I like Quincy a lot, but I like him as a rotational piece. I don't know if I trust him in coverage. Also, CJ is getting older and needs a running mate to help him out. I agree. He definitely does need a running mate to be there in the middle. And I think that what they look at, they look at Sherwood as that guy. I think they look at Sherwood as his partner in crime. But like, again, we can't forget that we did bring in Marcel Harris to specifically and only play linebacker, right? And he knows the system. He came from San Francisco. He knows what we're doing here. I'm not saying that he's a starter, but we have some pieces. And I think before we give up, on our linebacker room, we gotta give these guys a shot to like earn their keep. And I think one of the things that I see here is they were horrible last year. They weren't able to stop the run or screens. I think part of that one was us 100% with the linebackers, but I think part of that was also like the corners and the defensive line. I think with our upgraded defensive line, we're going to see a much better like version of us in what's the word I'm looking for? In the run game. I think we're not going to be Swiss cheese when it comes to the run game, where you're going to be able to run on us all day long and beat us with the run game. Kai Nuakua, we do have him. He's listed as a safety, but he is that safety hybrid as well. And DQ and Quincy are very similar prospects. Like I said, I when I get to DQ and talk about him, I don't really trust him in coverage. He's more of he's a third down back, or like a 1-2 down, not a third down back, because you want a coverage back on third downs. What am I saying? He is a 1-2 line back where he's trying to, he's really good in stuffing the run and filling those holes and things like that. And Kaden Smith, I disagree. I think Lindstrom has the capability to come into camp and win that job out. I know that Dallas does have, you are absolutely correct, Tyler there, but I don't think that he is a like above replacement level center. I think he can play center, like in that in that system. And I think the other thing is that Alec Lindstrom can also probably play guard. I think he has a better opportunity of starting in Dallas than he would in New York, is what I'm saying. I think Alec Lindstrom was never going to play tackle, which is where we needed the depth on the offensive line primarily. And with the draft going Tyler Smith, with the guy that they took, Tyler Smith probably can end up playing tackle or guard. And then if he plays tackle, now you can probably fit in one of those interior offensive line spots. I like Alec Lindstrom a lot. I do think that he needs a year to develop, and that's why I wanted the Jets to take him, because I think it would have been really good to see him as a developmental center, and then next year he can replace McGovern, but we didn't see that. I am upset with losing Lindstrom of the guys that were there. What's up, Dark? Coming in, crew. Was hurt and became ineffective because he could not control or move the OLM into the lanes. Yeah, I agree. Guys, we struggled with a lot of injuries last year, and you can't assume that we're going to have the same amount of injuries. You got to go and believe that we're going to do those, that we're going to be better there. But back to Irvin Charles and talking about him so that I can talk about DQ Thomas. I think what we're banking on with him is that he's going to reach his 4-star coming out of high school potential, because Irvin Charles got offers from Rutgers. He got an offer from Rutgers. He got an offer from Virginia, from Georgia Tech, Iowa, Michigan State, Penn State, Purdue, Wisconsin, Louisville, Alabama, Ohio State, Miami, Connecticut, Florida, Tennessee, Mississippi State, before he officially committed to Penn State. Like, he showed up in a big way in high school, and he got a bunch of offers. And he's got I hate this stat, and I hate it when people say this, but it is so true. And that's why I use it. And it's like, he does have some intangible things, and the things that you can't teach. And that's, you can't teach 6'4", 223. Just can't teach it. And so even though he bumped out of Penn State because he primarily just played special teams at Penn State, and then he went to IUP and kind of did okay at IUP, it's one of those things where I look at it and I go, he's okay. He's an interesting guy. He probably doesn't make the team. Haider Ali, thank you for stopping by. Haven't seen you before. Thank you for stopping by. Said that twice. I don't know why, because I'm crazy. Brees is 5'11", 217 with 10-inch hands. Walker III is 5'9", 211 for hands. I live in Michigan, and I've seen Walker III every game and live for 4 games. Truth be told, Brees is on another level. I agree. Brees is on another level. Like I said, I'm not upset that we took Brees. Brees is the best running back in the class. I said it earlier. I think Brees is a top 5 or top 10 pick 5 or 10 years ago. My thing is because he's 2 inches shorter, that way, and like, it seems like to me like Walker's just wider. And so that's why I wanted Walker. When we made the Brees pick, I was ecstatic because it's the best running back in the class. I think that truthfully and wholeheartedly. I just thought that Walker's like one cut, come downhill and hit a linebacker was much better. And Brees was hitting too many home runs at Iowa for us to be able to be like, yeah, we can see him run through a tackle or run through a linebacker. And I don't really, that's what I want. I want a running back that's just going to be a bruiser. When we need 1 or 2 yards, we can hand it off, and that guy's going to run up the middle and do it. And I thought Kenneth Walker fit that mold a little bit better than Brees Hall. But like I said, Brees Hall, Michael Carter, and Tevin Coleman is a 1-2-3 punch that's unmatched by anybody. And I love it. Tyler Dressler from Richmond tryout minicamp led Richmond in career tackles over 200 in 3 years. Tyler Dressler. Who's that? Did I miss one? I don't have him on my list. Do I have him on my list? Don't think I have him on my list. But we'll get there. Let's talk DQ Thomas, right? Awesome. DQ Thomas is a linebacker out of Middle Tennessee. And we kind of touched on this before. I think he's a good enough prospect to come in and be a 1-2 down back. He's coming in really to compete with Quincy. We've kind of talked about this already. He's a 1-2, he's a 2 down back. He's really good in your run games because he's a good tackler and all of that stuff, but he definitely needs to work on his interesting. Sorry, I was reading GMF's comment, but he really plays like a bull. But like the problem with DQ Thomas, and one of the reasons why he went undrafted, is because one, he is not an effective open field tackler. No, I'm sorry. He is an effective open field tackler, but when he's tackling, he doesn't really like wrap up. He just kind of uses his strength to like knock people over. And in coverage, he's just kind of average. I think he really needs to work on his like read and react skills. He needs to do a lot of studying of film because he's got like the lateral agility and that burst of speed that really allows him to make big plays. But the problem is like the angles of pursuit and the ways that he goes to get to the runner or get to the pass catcher or get to these places are very questionable. So he takes longer routes to avoid blockers because he's not great when a blocker gets in his face. He's a great guy that like, if you bring him in, like he might be a blitz specialist for us. Like you bring him in on third down when you want to bring in 5 guys, like DQ Thomas might be a guy like that. If you're trying to have a blitz or he kind of projects to kind of what I thought Leo Chenal was, but not at a high enough a level. Leo Chenal, I was saying earlier, and I like that we're seeing this out of Kansas City, is I think he could play as a hand in the dirt edge rusher. Like really, I think if you gave him the dedicated amount of time to like really just do pass rushing, and you ask him to put on like, because I think it was 232 in college. If he puts in another like 10 pounds, if he's at 240, 250, where he's just barely an undersized edge player, I thought he was going to do really well in Leo Chenal. And DQ Thomas is one of those guys where he might end his career as an edge rusher. He might just put on 20, 25 pounds, get to 250 and play as an edge. And I'm really curious to see what he does for the Jets, because the Jets, I'm pretty sure DQ Thomas got like a guarantee. I think he got one of the bigger guarantees in the off season. So very interesting to see what he does. I think he can make the roster. Worst case scenario, he's a special teams guy. You put him there as like a gunner or something, and you just tell him to like go get the kick returners and punt returners and things like that. But I like DQ Thomas a lot. There's a lot to expect from him. But like GMF said, very reminds me of Quincy. And Quincy's been in the system for a year, and I think that's ultimately what might win the starting job for him. Next, let's talk about Xavier Williams, defensive lineman out of Florida A&M. He is an interesting prospect. Because the 2 defensive tackles that we brought in, they seem like they're tweeners, right? They're not big enough to be interior defensive linemen full-time, but they're also not thin enough to be exterior edge rushers. Xavier Thomas fits the mold of what Jonathan Franklin Myers and what Solomon Thomas brings in to the team. And you look at his like career path, where very similar to Jermaine Johnson, where he went to a junior college and then transfers to Tennessee, and then in his last year of eligibility, he leaves Tennessee to go to Florida A&M so that he can try to elevate his draft stock so that he can get drafted. Now he doesn't get drafted and he goes undrafted, and it's he's an interesting guy. Um, he has really, really good balance, like contact balance. He's a guy that doesn't very much like go to ground or get pancaked or something like that. Um, so it's interesting with that. He's a good run after the quarterback or the runner guy because he is really, really athletic. He's tall. You know, we talked about this. He's 6'4". He's a big boy. But I agree. Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Both of the guys that we brought in are tweeners. Like they're very Solomon Thomas-esque where they can play inside and outside. And I was really hoping that with one of our defensive tackles, we just brought in someone who's like 6'4", 330, like just a big kid, you know what I mean? Just to fill up that lane up the middle. But going back to Xavier here, he is a below average tackler when it comes to like the run game and things like that. He he's just like it's one of those things that at Florida A&M, at Tennessee, at the JUCO schools, they didn't ask him to do much in the sense of scheme and positional versatility. Um, he just needs to work on his fundamentals. Like I said, he misses tackles if he doesn't square up and get in front of the runner or get in front of like the quarterback or whatever like that. For a guy who's 6'4", 280, 6'4", 290, you shouldn't be missing tackles on those kinds of guys. And he does. And I think a lot of that comes from his lower body. He doesn't have like one of the things that we talk about with George Karlaftis is that he can probably like squat an entire NFL football roster, right? He's got such really, really powerful legs and a really, really powerful lower half. And so he doesn't have that. Xavier Williams doesn't have a super powerful lower half. He's only got he's got average lower body strength, and like I think he can get moved relatively quickly. I think he's a practice squad guy, maybe more than likely going to get cut. And that's really it. Alan George out of Vanderbilt. I found a really hard time trying to find anything on this guy. When you look at like just outside of the straight up stats, I wanted to see like evaluations out of him and things like that. I think what he is he's being brought in because he's played a lot of games for Vanderbilt, you know, and that's really it. He just played a lot of games. He was a corner for them for a long time, and he was mildly productive. And it's just like bring it in. It's more competition. I don't think he makes the team at all. It's one of the reasons why I'm not going to stay on him for very long. He just kind of a okay prospect to me. I hope I'm wrong here, and I hope like he can do well because I like Vanderbilt and I like what he does. But I think his ceiling is special teamer, and that's not a bad thing. You know, if you can play in the NFL, even as a special teamer, you can have a very long and illustrious career. Look at Justin Hardy, right? He's on our team to be primarily just a special teams guy. So there's that. CJ Brewer, exactly. He's a tweener. It's one of those things where, like I was saying, he's not going to be great at either position. He needs to commit to one. And if I was him, I would say commit to being a defensive tackle. Put on some extra weight, put on the 20 pounds or 30 pounds that you might need to put on and be an interior guy. We're back. It worked. Internet's back. We should be live again. Hey, look at that. Everyone leave? Anyone still here? Look at that. That's good. Not good, but at least it's a thing. At least I was able to save it. Boom. Cool. Maybe people will see it and they'll come back. If not, it's all good. Who was I talking about? CJ Brewer. CJ Brewer is another one of those guys that I look at. It's just a tweener, man. We were talking to Alan George, but Alan George, like I said, he's just kind of like 6'1", 195. He's a tall running back. He's a tall corner. I don't really see him making this roster, especially with the depth that we've got at corner right now. Might become a special teamer, and that's maybe what we see him as. Maybe he's got good speed or something like that. I've got the live stream open on my phone, and that's why I'm getting a feedback there. But yeah, man, Alan George, kind of a whatever prospect. On to the next one, CJ Brewer. I like the CJ Brewer signing because of the fact that he was a 4-year starter with Coastal Carolina. But again, at 6'1", 288, he's kind of like not big enough to be an interior guy, but also not like agile or quick enough for me to be comfortable saying that he's definitely for sure an outside guy. He again has a really good kind of like Xavier, has a wrestling background from when he was in high school. And so he's got really, really good balance. He's got really, really good closing speed and chasing speed. He's a strong tackler, unlike Xavier. So he's like really good in the tackling game and doesn't very much get like he doesn't get pushed around when he's being blocked in the run game, but he doesn't have really the agility that you want out of a guy coming off of the edge. He needs to get stronger, not just in his lower half, but also with his arms. He needs to get better with his hands and how he plays with his hands. He needs to play with more violent hands. And that's my whole situation too, is also he needs to get better at it with his read and react skills. I think he's another one of those prospects that adequately just needs to watch more film. That's it. Just needs to watch more film. That's all he's got to do is watch more film. But CJ Brewer, I don't think he makes the team just because of his size. Yeah, man. Kyle, thanks for stopping by. But not only did we hit 50 subs, man, my Denzel Mims video blew up and right now has over 3,300 views and over 200 likes, and my sub count exploded. We're at 191. We are 9 subscribers away from 200, and we did that in one day. I hit 100 yesterday, and if the pace keeps going the way that it is, if I can find 9 subscribers by the end of the night, I'll be at 200 in one day. It's crazy growth. I honestly can't believe that this explosion just happened. You know, my Zach Wilson needs to Kirk Cousins video has 50 views. Like, it's crazy, man. Yeah, Kyle. He definitely is. But I didn't expect him to be such a polarizing thing that I was going to get 3,300 views. I didn't think that me just saying, hey, I like Denzel Mims, and the fact that I heard this thing coming out of Daniel Jeremiah saying that he's doing great in camp was going to explode. And like the thing is so I have like over 90 comments on that. And that's because I respond to every single comment that's left, right? It doesn't matter. I respond to every comment. And a majority of them are people like just agreeing with me and just saying like, hey, yeah, I like Denzel Mims. And if he can come up and show out, and if he can fix his pass dropping thing or this thing or that thing, it's great. And Matthew, I didn't ignore you. Just we were on the topic. Thank you for stopping by, Matthew. Nate Herbig. I don't know who that is. Let me look him up really quickly, and I will stall. Nate Herbig, offensive guard. Interesting. Did he start for Philly? Do you know, Matthew? Did he start games? Career log. Interesting. I'm trying to find his stats on a website that I care about. Wow, yeah. He played. And he wasn't horrible. Wasn't great. It's not like I want him on the team, like starting, but that's depth. Let me ask you this question, Matthew, because he started 17 of 33 games, and it seems like you might know a little bit more about Nate Herbig than I do. Do you think, and I want you to be truthful here, I don't want you to just start with your Connor McDermott hate, or I'm sorry, Greg Van Roten hate here, okay? Be honest here. You think he's an upgrade on GVR? Like legitimately? You think that he comes in and he fills in that depth at guard? How many? Really? Okay. I'm on board with this signing. If he plays well, plays successfully. Oh, here's the crazy thing. Yeah, no, of course I was going to ask that. Here's the crazy thing. I'm looking at his stats now. He can also play center. He played 50 snaps at center last year. Yes, Kane, we are back. My power came back for the whole neighborhood. It was weird. It went out and it came back, and the live stream was still running, so we back. But Kyle, call me crazy, but I think Bam from North Carolina State has a chance to make the roster. Maybe a special teams guy. He's a bigger running back and should have more tread on the tires than Coleman. I agree, Kyle. Like, here's the thing, though, right? We have to remember that Tevin Coleman is a LaFleur guy. GFM mentioned this way up here. Let me see if I can find the comment. Tevin Coleman is a LaFleur guy. And what's going to ultimately end up happening is Tevin Coleman, I don't think, is going to lose out on isn't going to lose his job. And I think Bam is coming in to compete with LaMichael Pirine, what is it? It's LaMichael Pirine, Ty Johnson, and Austin Walter. They are all four of them are going to be competing for that fourth running back spot. Because like GFM mentioned, and I agreed with him, I think we run 4 running backs, 4 tight ends, a fullback, and then a shit ton of wide receivers. Pardon my French. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to curse on these videos. But I think we're going to run that kind of set. And so the real question is, where can they play? I think ultimately Zonovan Knight ends up as a special teamer for a year. Especially if we want to look at maybe not putting Braxton as a kick returner full-time or a punt returner full-time. You might see Zonovan Knight be the punt returner, and then you see Braxton be the kick returner. The kick returner, so that you see that. So we'll see. I like Bam, but I feel like he just provides a very similar skill set to some of the, I feel like GMF mentioned that he thinks that he kind of reminds him of LaMichael Pirine. And I said that he kind of reminds me of Ty Johnson when you're trying to compare inter-roster players, but that's my thing. Let's go back to this guy, Nate Herbig. This is his 4th year, and he had Jason Kelsey as a mentor, and our O-line coach would do well with him for a depth piece. Absolutely. He's got play time, and he's and we've seen him play at an NFL level. He's played snaps at right guard, left guard, and center. And here's a fun fact. On jumbo sets, he played as a tight end. Did that 6 times. Give me 1 second. Let me close my door. My wife is in an interview. Sorry about that. I have no idea. I didn't know that we signed this guy. I'm going to have to go watch tape on him really to see what he is, because he did only play like 50 snaps at center. He played most of his time at right guard last year, but yeah. Answering Cameron Trammell. Thank you for stopping by, Cameron Trammell. If you haven't already, hit the sub button. Helps out greatly. We are 9 subscribers away from 200. Channel is growing insanely quickly. But to answer your question on Jacob Martin, I like the idea of Jacob Martin coming in and being a rotational piece. I have a friend who's a huge Texans fan, and he was disappointed that they didn't keep Jacob Martin. Not that he thought Jacob Martin was this starter or anything like that, but he was disappointed that they didn't keep him. He's what I believe is going to become a pass rushing specialist. On third downs, you're going to see Jacob Martin come out there, and you're going to see him really be a good rotational guy for the pass rush. He does have liability. He is kind of a liability in the run game because he's not the best edge setter, but when you ask him to be part of the pass rush, put his hand in the dirt and pin his ears back and go get the pass rusher, he's got a lot of really, really good moves, and he's definitely going to be a productive member of that pass rush moving forward. Hey, Matthew, I agree, but Gronklin, I love it. What's up, Jets World? Thanks for stopping by. If you haven't hit that sub button, I like acknowledging everybody who comes in. Appreciate you stopping by. We are 8 subscribers away. Somebody hit the sub button. We're 8 away from 200, guys. Oh my God. It's crazy. If we're on the goal line, dude, I'd rather put in a big dude to play tight end than like a legitimate tight end go in there. Thanks, Jets World. I appreciate that. Let's just move the sticks. Let's just move bodies. Let's just put a big boy out there. I'm really interested. Now I have something to do later tonight. 6'4", 334. He's a big kid. Went to Stanford, so you know the guy's smart when it comes to football and the studying of it. He's got 4 years of experience, and I believe in our offensive line coaches more than anybody in the league. I'm really excited about this Nate Herbig. Matthew, are you the new Ian Rappaport? Dropping the dimes? Not dimes, but dropping the info and all that stuff? Might be my new Ian. Jesus, guys, 2 more subs. Who hit the sub button? We're 6 away. Oh my God, it's crazy. Cameron, he's a freaking animal, gonna turn a lot of heads. I agree. And in our scheme, that's gonna literally just ask him to go after and get after the passer, where he's not really gonna have to worry about the run game that well, because we really want our corners and our linebackers to be involved there. He's gonna do insane thing. There it is. Rap Sheet's son. That's what it is. Has to be. Sauce is going to be a freaking stud. This team is going in the right direction. Absolutely, man. And when you look at not just the depth that we have at positions last year that were going to be, like liabilities. We've got so much depth now at those positions. Like I look at our depth chart now and I go, man, I feel comfortable with our quarterback depth chart. Like our running back, like Tevin Coleman, who could realistically on like 10 or 11 teams in this like league could be a starting running back for them, is our 3rd running back. Our wide receivers go Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, Braxton Berrios, and Denzel Mims. Our tight end group goes CJ Uzama, Tyler Conklin, Jeremy Ruckert. Like we've got so much depth and like great players on the offensive side of the ball. And then when we look at the positional versatility of our defensive guys, we've got Sauce Gardner, who he's a stud, man. I think he's the best cornerback prospect since Jalen Ramsey. The guy's out of this world good. You add DJ Reed and Bryce Hall and Brandon Eccles and LaMarcus Joyner and Michael Carter II and Javelin Guidry and Jason Pinnock. Like you got, like it's a position where we no longer have to worry about it. Last year, our corners were a liability. Not that they were a liability, but we knew that we weren't going to get a turnover. Like Bryce Hall's a playmaker, but he's not an interception guy. I'm going to block the pass. I'm going to stop the pass from happening. And pushing him down the depth chart is never going to be a bad thing. So I'm really excited with how this team is looking. I truthfully and honestly expect us to be a 9 or 10 win team. When the schedule gets released in a little bit less, I think it's a little bit over a week from now, that's when I'm going to really do a breakdown of what I think our record is going to be, because when we play certain teams is very important. Like, for example, I would much rather face Cleveland and Pittsburgh early on in the year, because Kenny Pickett, I think, is going to take some time to develop. I'm not the biggest Kenny Pickett fan personally, but I think he's going to take time to develop. And if we get to play Cleveland when they're playing whoever the backup for Deshaun Watson is, we beat that. Easy breezy. So we'll see what that is. Kyle Craig, I believe Max Mitchell was a tight end before turning into a tackle. Maybe keep an eye out for trick plays. He actually was a tight end before he was a tackle. I'm pretty sure he got recruited to Louisiana as a tight end, and then got there and like, it was one of those like, hey, we're going to give you an offer, but we're going to play you at tackle kind of a thing. So that like they gave him a tight end offer, and then they moved him over to tackle. He was supposed to redshirt his freshman year, Max was, and he didn't. He was supposed to, like I say, redshirt his freshman year. He didn't. He immediately started at one of the tackle spots, and then it goes from there. Max Mitchell was a guy that I was pounding the table for us to take in the 5th round. And when we drafted him, I was ecstatic. I love Max Mitchell. Going on to Matthews, Eccles has real potential. Guy was shutting down Tua. Look, not to take anything away from Eccles, because I like Eccles. Eccles is not an above replacement level cornerback, right? He is great, and I love him on our team, and I'm happy that he's a developmental piece that we have on our team. That being said, he's not a guy that I look at and I go, oh my gosh, definitely want him to be starting reps. He's got potential, and I love that we've got potential on our team again, but he's a depth guy for me as of right now. I hope that he can come in and really, really be a starter for this team in the future, especially because I love the fact that he got the Tom Brady interception and things like that. Like, we saw him do good things, but he definitely needs work, and adding players like Gardner and Reed, Joyner coming back, Javelin Guidry coming back is going to help him develop his game a lot. And him and Bryce Hall really competing for that number 3 corner is a big deal, because I think they're going to drive each other to be better. And ultimately, when it's time to move on from Bryce Hall, I think we do move on from Bryce Hall, because I think Brandon Eccles becomes our Bryce Hall in that situation. I would love to see JR get some reps at fullback to potentially maximize him being a rookie with having 2 tight ends ahead of him. Here's my thing, Cameron. I don't actually think Jeremy Ruckert is the 3rd tight end in the group. I think Jeremy Ruckert is tight end 2. I know a lot of people don't agree with me on this, but hear me out. Tyler Conklin, and I love this guy, is a pass-catching tight end. He's the guy that I want to bring out when I want to spread 5 wide and I really need someone to split the seams, or I need someone to get open up in the middle. He's got crazy good hands, but he is a below-average blocker. And so for me, when you're running 22 personnel and 12 personnel, the guy that I want to bring in is Ruckert, not Conklin. So we'll have to see if I'm wrong here, but Ruckert playing fullback, I'm totally for. He's a good runner when he has the ball in his hands, and if you can give him the ball in his hands early, like in a fullback dive or things like that, he's a big enough boy that he can move linebackers and stuff like that. And I'd love to see him. Like, I really just want to see him in the passing game. I really like Jeremy Ruckert a lot. So that's my opinion on that one. May 12th. Yeah, it is May 12th. I just couldn't really do the math from May 5th to the 12th. That's what, 5, 6. Yeah, it's a week away. Hey, look at that. If Salah could imitate the Rams defense with Sauce, then Sauce is MVP. I think, look, yes. If you put Sauce on the Rams right now, he'd be incredible, right? Especially with how much man they play over there and all that stuff. my thing is we really only play man coverage on third downs, from my understanding. GFM, is it GFM? GMF? GMF sent me a breakdown of all of the like cover rates and everything that we played last year, because I really want to take a deep dive on that for one of these live streams to talk about it. But Sauce is going to be in this day and age, we don't really have shutdown corners. They don't exist anymore. The rules are so anti-defense right now that playing, oh my gosh, guys, we just hit it. We're at 200 subs. Holy crap. Whoever is subbing, thank you so much. This is crazy. I hit 100 subs yesterday, and I just hit 200 subs today. This is crazy, guys. Oh my God. Thank you so much for anyone who hit that sub button, who came into the stream and did all that. I cannot. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Oh, thank you so much, everyone who was here. I appreciate it. I was going to try to figure out something for 250 subs, but if we keep going at this pace, we're going to be at 250 subs tomorrow. I don't know what to do with that. Oh man. Thank you so much. Thank you, Cameron, Matthew, everyone, for being here. I really, really, really do appreciate it. Coming back to the whole Sauce thing. Sorry, didn't want to boycott Activision. Didn't want to ignore your take here. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Motivated T. Thank you, Roberto. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, hitting the sub button, and doing all that stuff. Honestly, thank you so much. Back to Sauce Gardner. With shutdown corners, they don't really exist anymore because of the rules and how defenses are played. And so, that being said, now I feel so much more comfortable in our secondary on third downs, being able to stop that, because I think our defensive line is now going to put teams in 2nd and 10s, 3rd and 13s and 14s, because we're going to be getting sacks and stuff like that. And then when you ask our guys to drop into coverage and where we play more man-to-man coverage snaps on third down, Sauce is going to shut people down. And that's just, I truly, truly think that. So as much as I love the idea of giving Sauce the MVP, I don't disagree with it. I love Sauce, and I think he's going to do great things. It's just that it's hard to look at a player and say they're 100% going to be MVP, especially in a position that has been so affected by the rules that they can't do anything. But I think Sauce is one of those guys that's going to truly elevate the cornerback position in a way that we haven't seen since these rule changes. He's going to be a problem, man. I'm so excited to see Sauce play in this team. Matthew, with the I wanted Bernard Raymond, just started playing football and was a tight end, also was being mocked in the first round. I did too. If you could ask any of my friends, sorry I have to close my left eye because this is the only eye with the prescription. Fun fact with my glasses. And I'm cleaning them. And if I clean them, I can't see. Bernard Raymond, man, for me was the guy that I wanted. When I saw him available in the 3rd, I was like, "Oh, Joe, go get him. Go get him." Because he was an undersized tackle coming into the draft. He was 300 pounds. And you have to take into consideration that he was a military man because he's from Austria originally. He had to go do his mandatory 2 years of service in Austria. So he is an older prospect, which is one of the reasons why I think he fell down draft boards. But my thing is I have no problem taking an older prospect who has this upside that Bernard Raymond had. And it was sad to see him go. I think he went to the Colts like 10 picks before the Jets picked. And it was disappointing to say the least. But Max Mitchell was Bernard Raymond was the guy that I was saying, if we were going to take a tackle early, I wanted to take Bernard Raymond in the 2nd if he made it to the 2nd. It was Tyler Smith and Bernard Raymond were the 2 guys that I would take at 35 or 38. We saw what happened, and I'd much rather have Jermaine Johnson than both of those guys. And Breece Hall than both of those guys. But it was one of those things where I was looking at it if we took the edge and the wide receiver, I didn't think we were going to take the corner. I'm glad I'm wrong because Sauce freaking is in New York. We got our applesauce. My pick at 38 was Tyler Smith or Bernard Raymond if they fell there, because I love their potential and their ability to possibly replace Fant in the future. So, yeah, I loved Bernard Raymond, another tight end turned tackle. I really like that kid a lot. I actually like both of the Central Michigan kids, if I'm being honest. I like both of them, him and Gadecki. So I can't wait to see Wilson versus Sauce. Jets World, you said it wrong. I can't wait to see the Wilsons versus Sauce, because Wilson's got to throw the ball to Wilson, right? Sauce has got to, he's going 2v1 every single time he's up there whenever he's playing defense. No, I agree with you. Rookie camp is going to be a blast, and seeing Wilson and Sauce go at it. You know who I'm actually kind of really excited to see go at it is I want to see Sauce and Corey Davis go at it, because they're very similar heights. And I'd love to see, because Sauce has like 2 or 3 inches on Wilson, but like Corey Davis and Gardner are the same size, like about ish. And so I'd love to see that, like their length and strength going up. Oh, it's going to be great. Like, I cannot wait to play Buffalo, because I'm just going to watch Sauce take Stephon Diggs out of the game. Just take him out of the game. That's all I care about. But yeah, man. Coming back to the Eccles thing that we were talking about like 20 minutes ago, Eccles has more athletic ability compared to Hall. I think he can really be a good rotational dude. I agree, Kyle. Like I said, I think Ryan was talking about how Bryce Hall would be competing with with DJ Reed for that second corner spot. I disagree. I think that Bryce Hall is going to be competing with Eccles for that third cornerback spot. And like you said, and like I kind of said a little bit, I think Eccles has a lot of potential, and I think he can win that job out. So let's skip through here. All the congratulations. Thank you so much, guys, for hitting that. I still can't believe I'm at 200 subs in a day. Jets World. I feel like our defense could get teams to third down last year, but we would play man on third and get burnt. Sauce and Reed are going to stop that. Absolutely. I mentioned that. I didn't even see this comment. You're absolutely right. We play man coverage on third downs, and we weren't able to stop the passes. If you look at our numbers for the Jets, specifically at our cornerback position last year, one of the things that you saw is the average yards per reception on our cornerbacks, on Bryce Hall and Brandon Eccles, were pushing relatively higher numbers. So Bryce Hall, I think, was averaging, it's like 9.9, or no, it was 11.2 yards per reception, and Bryce Hall was like 12.7 yards per reception. It wasn't great. Like, that's just the fact of it. And I think you're right. Sauce and DJ Reed are absolutely going to stop that. Cameron, Tigo, people are really sleeping on your guy Quincy, man. He's going to be incredible along CJ in year 2. Watch the fuck out. Man, I got to get better at this whole cursing thing. Look, I like Q. I like Q a lot, but he needs to get better in coverage. Right now, he's a 2-down back. I want him on the field in first and second down. And he needs to get better in coverage. That's really just it. I need to be more comfortable with him in coverage, because when I see Q out there on third downs, I'm worried. I'm really worried. But I always look at it this, like, when you go into a new system and a new scheme, it's going to be hard to pick up. He was picked up and told to immediately start, because we were like, Hamza and Sherwood both went down. So he was asked to start immediately. So when you look at it and you go, hey, he's going to be second year in this system, and we have a lot more rotational pieces, and he's going to get less of a spotlight at the position because he's not going to play as many snaps. I think he can look a lot better with less snaps, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I like Quincy a lot, and I love having the Williams brothers there, because it just plays into our whole name, massive, our name thing. Like, we got like 2 Halls, 2 Bryces, 2 Michael Carters, 2 Wilsons. Like, keep it going. You know what I mean? And I love the idea of that. Like, let's just have the 2 Williams. That being said, I do want to see him be better. And like Kyle said, Quincy also takes bad angles in the run game. Absolutely. He does need to change his angles of pursuit and how he gets after the rusher. Another thing that I would like to see him be a little bit better at is anchoring, shedding, and tackling. He's good at the shedding and tackling, but it's not as his anchoring is the issue. He gets moved a lot and some other linebackers don't. And so I think he needs to get better at anchoring because he can shed the blocker and get to the runner. He just needs to get better angles of pursuit and anchor himself a little bit more in the game. But I think he's not a every down back. Let me finish up this some of these comments, and then I'm going to end the stream so that I can help my wife get ready for work. Might get back on a little bit later tonight. Might try to hop on somebody's talk show if somebody would have me. But let's see what's going on. Kyle, having a good D is going to give Wilson more chances and make him look a lot better. We're not going to have games like the Eagles where Zach isn't on the field for a whole quarter. I agree. Getting people off the field and giving Zach more reps is not only good for our defense, but like time of possession wins you football games. That Eagles game was a perfect example of, I think we looked like the better team out there, but we lose out on time of possession because we just don't get that many more shots at the ball. How many games about that? How many games did we see this year about that? Like we didn't see guys get on the field because we didn't have it. And like the other thing is like the third down stops. So like there's two games that come to my mind that we lost out of pure just time of possession stats, and one because like our third downs. And that's the Tampa game. The Tampa game we lost because like our defense was Swiss cheese. We just let him go through and touch the ball. Tom, like score the ball, right? Tom in the last 2 minutes. We should have won that game. Now, Zach doing the quarterback sneak instead of handing it off to Berrios is a different thing entirely, but that's one problem, right? So there's that. But like Philly, if we touch the ball once in the third quarter, I think we get a score, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown, and I think we can win that game. That's just a reality of it. My favorite play of the year came in that Philly game. If you watch any of my intros of my videos, that huddle, that in the red zone, no huddle offense, quick slant pass to Elijah Moore, my favorite play all game, because it just showed Zach comfortable in the system, making the calls quickly, getting out there, getting a touchdown, and getting off the field. Quick, easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. Tyler Smith is a bust in Dallas. Man, I like Tyler Smith, so I don't want to say that he's a bust, but I kind of agree with you. Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. Hader Ali at Talking Jets with Tico. Jets fan since 75, NFL fanatic since 77. I've been listening and watching pods and YouTube vids for many years. Caught you on Jeremy Kravat's show. Most optimistic I've been in many years. I agree, man. This is super duper optimistic. I'm really, really excited for this season. It is a good time to be a Jets fan, Jeremy. You're absolutely right. It's awesome. Let's scroll through here. Quincy also takes bad angles. We talked about that. Remember, Saleh said last year that he thinks he's absolutely has Pro Bowl potential in Quincy Williams. Yeah, it kind of goes down to what A&M was saying here, is that the Jets front office likes some of these names way more than the fans do. I look at the safety and the linebacker room, and I'm starting to get it. We don't play very many linebackers out in the field. We play a lot of nickel coverage. So, yeah, we'll see. I believe in this team, and it's because I think that for the first time ever, this team has truly given me an option to have hope. And Quincy, correct, is not an every down guy, and he does need to pick up his head. I agree, Jets mess, Saleh and staff much higher on linebackers than most fans. Thank you, Jeremy. I'll be available. If not, I'll be in the chat. I'm always in the chat. So that's always a thing. Like I said, it is good to be a thing. We talked about him earlier. Sean Bennett, thank you for stopping by the channel. If you haven't already, hit the sub button. It's an Eagles guy. What's his name? Nick something. Well, I gotta go look up. Matthew broke the news for me. Matthew, what's his name? No, not Jacob Martin. No. No, what's his name? Nate Herbig. We got him off of waivers. I'm definitely, when I get off of here, I'm definitely going to do a deep dive on his playing ability and look at his stats. But I'm excited, man, especially because I'm going to take Matthew's word for it here. He thinks that he's an upgrade immediately to Greg Van Roten. Got to stop doing that. And so if you're telling me that we get linebacker depth, and I believe in our offensive line coach, Jet Orange, thank you. Didn't see that till now. Thank you for telling me that. But he's more of a guard than center because he only played 50 snaps at center where he played 400 snaps at right guard. But being able and willing to play center, and it's a developmental guy. And like I said, I believe in our offensive line really, really well. Our offensive line coach, I'm sorry. Everyone is good. Family is good. Dodged some bullets, but all clear now. That's good to hear. And then last comment here before I shut it down. JD is really looking for depth pieces. Nate Herbig, watch game tape, was good against the Washington Redskins. I'm going to have to look up that game. He's a good player, man. He's a big boy right here. Jet Orange said it perfectly. He's a big kid at 334 pounds. He started 17 games in, I think it's 4 years, because I think he started 17 of his 33 games that he was a part of. He's young, and we know I believe in Joe because like he found George Fant, right? Like he went out and got Fant, who was a swing tackle and a backup, and now he's a starter. Maybe we can look at this Herbig guy as a potential McGovern replacement. And you're right, they're the commies, whatever, man. If you guys haven't, I'm gonna plug this. Urinating Tree made for one of his punishment videos with his group that he does a like Commanders like fight song, and it's about being communists. It's hilarious. You should all go watch it. But that being said, guys, I'm going to end the stream. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. I did not plan on starting the stream and hitting 200 subscribers while in the middle of the stream, but it happened that way. Thank you so much for everybody who hit the subscribe button. I did this for fun, just to put my stuff out there. Dude, Matthew, you're right. Joe D finds these guys. JFM, Huff, Barrios, like he finds these guys late. Like the other thing is like Brandon Eccles was a 6th round pick, and we like Brandon Eccles, right? Like, who's the other guy? Is it Elijah Riley or Wilson Park? One of the guys that he pulled off a Phillies practice squad that started games. The guy knows how to find talent. I believe in his talent evaluation. That being said, I got to get out of here, guys. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Thanks for hitting the sub button. Really appreciate all you being here. Watch out for a Jet stream later tonight. Nick should be doing a stream later tonight. Keep an eye out for that. It's I forget the name of his channel because he never goes by it. If Jeremy's still here, if you could put that in the comments, Nick's channel, put your channel in there too. Wouldn't have gotten here if it wasn't for NFL Chaos with Jeremy and all of that stuff. We did get Bryce Hall in the 5th round. Guys, stop trying to pull me back in. I can talk Jets for hours. I got to go help my wife. Again, thank you guys for stopping by. Thanks for hitting the sub button. Thanks for hitting the like button on the video. Really, really do appreciate it. I'm out. Have a good night, guys. I'll see you guys later.